Whoa. We are building fast and furious here on the Sunday Scotland Show, and are we ever grateful? This is amazing. I want to say hello to all of our viewers joining us right now. This is Rebecca from Ripple Effects Canada, and just a few short weeks ago, we put together, merged together with Scotland, Ireland, the Wales, and it's blowing out of proportion. We can't control it. It's amazing. So please feel free to put in the comments on the side where you're from. Please let us know where you're watching from. We love that because it just gives us lots of engagement with the show, and we get to stop. The musicians get to stop, pause, and say hello. And it's great. So please share hashtag replay if you watch it later. This really helps the show. Just while the musicians are getting ready backstage, we want to mention we have a musician from Ireland tonight, a well-known musician. His voice is just stunning. So I'm really excited to hear him tonight. And I have a little inspiring story for you entrepreneurs out there. I started 4 years ago with a business. I was a single mom, 5 kids. And the last 2 years that I've spent building Ripple Effects with my business, I wore the same sweater because red is my favorite. So I wore the same sweater for all my shows. I finally got a new shirt just this past week. Was able to build the business beyond my wildest dreams. And anyway, this sweater I would wear it on Mondays. I would wear it to for my business professional look. And then on Sundays, we had a dog puppy show. So I improvised. We live in a very remote area in East Coast Canada. One, we don't have a lot of shopping centers. And 2, I just didn't feel the need to spend a lot of money while I was building my business. So the point of the moral of the story is, if you have a dream, go for it. Don't give up. Just improvise. So without further ado, I want to welcome on my good friends from Scotland and my co-host, Peter Wood. Hello, Peter.
Hi, Rebecca. How are you tonight?
I'm very fine and lovely. Thank you. How are you this evening?
A very inspirational talk there at the beginning about improvising and saying how you've stuck with the colour red all this time. And my hair has changed colour every week, I think, since I've been on. So.
You're branding yourself, though, Peter. It's all about branding yourself, right?
I don't know. Somebody said I looked like a unicorn last night, so who knows?
It's neon pink. I love it.
Yeah.
It's great. What are we in for tonight, Peter? Let's let our viewers know what a treat we have tonight.
We have a wonderful show lined up for you tonight. We've got the usual suspects that are always on, myself and Paul Anderson, Shona Donaldson and Ross McNaughton. And we've got 2 guests on tonight. We've got Angus Lyon coming on in the first half hour. Angus is a member, as well as a solo artist. He's a member of Blazing Fiddles and various other groups. So we're going to speak about that as we go along. And he's going to give us a couple of tunes on the accordion as well. And then in the second half, we'll intersperse it with wee tunes and stories from ourselves as well. And then the second half of Francy Devine coming on, the Irish singer. So it's looking like this is going to be fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's such a good show, Peter. It's bringing people together all over the world, and people are watching it all over the world, even weeks later. So it's just amazing. I mean, we're just getting comments. And viewers, if you're watching now, watch what we can do. If you put a comment on the side, I'm the ghost moderator. I'm going to pop off the screen for the show, but I'm moderating and I can put your comments up on screen. So be sure to say hello and where you're from. And Peter, are we ready to bring them on?
I would say so. Let's bring the usual suspects on, and then I'll give you a cue to bring Angus on in a couple of minutes' time after a song.
Okay. And also to our viewers out there, this has been a tip that has been sent down to me from the pros. Can we do a sound check with our viewers? Can we get viewers out there to just kindly put yes or no in the comments if you can hear us? That would be fantastic. Just put thumbs up or whatever you want in the side comments on the side. And the only Ross McNaughton, it says device not connected. I don't know why. You might have to disconnect Ross and press the link again to come back on. All right. Our viewers are saying they can hear us, which is good.
Fabulous.
Awesome. So who would you like me to bring up first, Peter? And then I'll disappear and you can let me know as we go who you want me to bring up.
Paul and Shona up, and then Ross when he gets attached again. That'd be good.
Okay. Here we go. Yeah. Hi, guys. Ross is just going to have to disconnect and come back on.
Yeah, Ross is in Pitlochry and they've had a power cut or something. Who knows? Anyway,
Okay.
the joys of technology.
I'll put him on as soon as
I'll
put him on as soon as I see him.
He'll have to pay his power bill. That's what it is.
It says that it says, Peter, just in case anyone's talking to Ross, it says that he needs to connect mic or cam before you can add them to the screen. So not sure if he's got his camera disconnected. But anyway, take it away, Peter. Love to you all. And this is Rebecca popping off.
See you later. Hi guys, how are you? You're internet stars. You've done a show tonight already.
We did. There's a page on Facebook called Music from Scotland. So we did that.
7 o'clock.
At 7 o'clock. So it's been quite a busy night. It's good. It's good fun, and it's amazing when you start seeing the folks saying where they come from that are watching it, and it's unbelievable, really. We had one guy looking in for Washington State, and he was just getting up. And then with somebody from New Zealand, they were just getting up, but tomorrow, if you know what I mean.
It's fantastic. It really is good. We're going to have a good show tonight. We've got some great guests on that we'll get to speak to as well later on, and friends of yours as well, and mine. So what I was wondering tonight, Shona, would you be any chance that you would open up the show tonight with a wee song? Would that be possible?
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be, what do you fancy giving us tonight?
Well, I might do something a wee bit upbeat because it is now, just after 10 o'clock at night here, and I'm lagging a wee bit. I'm usually in my bed by now, if I'm honest. These are not pajamas. I've got my tartan dress on, so just to make that clear, I am fully dressed. But I'll maybe do something chorusy that everybody can join in and maybe just waking me up a wee bit, if that's all right. This is a song from just down the road from where we stay, actually, probably like 5-6 miles away. And the chorus doesn't even have any proper words, so it's really, really easy.
Would you say is this like a farming related song? Would you say then, or
no? It's not a bothy ballad like the one that I sang last week. It's just a traditional song. So the background to it's a song about a place called Turner Hall, which is, like I said, 5 or 6 miles away from us. And the laird of Turner Hall was a man called Alexander Pithy. And he made his fortune in Jute in Dundee and then moved up to the northeast. So it's all about a girl who is from quite a poor background, longing to marry the laird of Turner Hall.
Fantastic. Take it away.
Maybe I'll be married, maybe in a while. Maybe I'll be married to the laird of Turner's Hall. Oh, reggy do, reggy daddy, oh, reggy do, reggy day, oh, reggy do, reggy daddy, oh, reggy do, reggy day. He's coming here and will be here. He's coming here for all that. He's coming here and will be here to take me fae ye, oh yet, oh reggy do, reggy daddy, oh reggy do, reggy day, oh reggy do, reggy daddy, oh reggy do, reggy day. And maybe I'll hae hose and sheen, then ye man hagang perfect. And maybe I'll be neat and clean when ye gang wheat and droplet. Oh, reggy do, reggy daddy, oh, reggy do, reggy day, oh, reggy do, reggy daddy, oh, reggy do, reggy day. There's nane a ye ben get to me, but I'll reward ye all yet. Yamma bani da pekamil, te tak me fae, oh yet, oh reggy do, reggy daddy, oh reggy do, reggy day, oh reggy do, reggy daddy, oh reggy do, reggy day. And maybe I'll be married, my bani of all. Maybe I'll be married to the laird of Tanner's Hall. Oh, reggae do, reggae daddy, oh, reggae do, reggae day, oh, reggae do, reggae daddy, oh, reggae do, reggae day, oh, reggae do, reggae daddy, oh, reggae do, reggae day, oh, reggae do, reggae daddy, oh, reggae do, reggae day.
Way!
Whoa!
You know, I had some backing vocals there.
Fantastic, yeah. Boy, I've not heard these singing like that without drink for a while.
I've made a real effort today. You can't really tell, but take a look at that now.
Oh, boy! James, you've got... I thought about that. I did.
Shave my head.
Best I've got is my Viking shield with me tonight. That's it.
I'm gonna race you. I'm gonna race you up at the Highland car.
Oh boy! I've got an axe.
Yeah.
I've got another axe.
I'm the battle axe in this house, Peter.
I've got my skating do.
Ladies and gentlemen watching this show, Scotland is an absolutely wonderful place with friendly people. We don't normally go about with axes and shields and things, so please don't worry. So, listen, Paul, we're going to bring a fellow on here, Angus Lyon, just now. Angus has got something in common with you as well. He's a farmer.
Oh, good stuff. So, I was a wee bit disappointed. I thought it was a real lion that you were bringing on.
No, it's not a real lion. No, it's an Angus lion. So I wonder, Angus, are you there at all, my sir? Can we think about finding Angus? Have you got him, Rebecca?
Calling bigger.
Are you there?
Hello.
Aha, here we go. Hello.
How you doing, guys?
Hello, Angus. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well. Good to see you.
Ladies and gentlemen, all over the world in Cape Breton, this is Mr. Angus Lyon. Angus, I think you've been in Cape Breton a few times, have you?
I have, yeah. I've been over, played Celtic Colours a few times over the years. I think we were there. I've kind of lost track of the years now, but I think 2 years ago with Blazing Fiddles was the last time I was over. So, yeah, amazing. Love it over there.
Paul and Shona have joined us tonight. Just before you come on here, we were saying you guys have something in common, actually. You're both farmers.
That's right, yeah.
I used to farm, but I haven't milked a cow for quite a long time. Although the last thing I did there, it was a friend asked me if I would clip his Aberdeen Angus bull for the Perth bull sales. So that's why I'm so good at cutting my own hair.
Yeah, Angus hasn't been bothered with the lockdown haircut. It's not bothered him just too much.
It's getting a bit out of control now. Like, I'm getting sides are starting to come in, but
Well, anyway, sir, tell us, what are you up to? What are you doing just now? You're in South Lanarkshire, folks. That's kind of down nearer the borders of Scotland.
Well, we've been down in we've been really lucky actually, because me and my family, my wife and my kids, we live down in the farm where I was born, and my mum and dad still live. So where everybody else has been getting some time on Netflix and catching up on all the box sets, my dad, with all my gigs being cancelled, he's just kind of got me back into the farming. So the week it happened was the start of lambing. So we had 350 sheep to lamb. And I haven't really clocked off since then, so I think I've been busier than I usually am.
Did I see an initiative online that people were sponsoring a name for the lambs that were born?
Right. My dad wasn't too happy about that. I was spraying people's names on any year that was having a single lamb. We normally just put numbers on them just so we know we can murder them up. But we had one field and we had about 35 sheep with the lambs, and I started off just going through all the kind of musical symbols and anything I could think of, and then we got into some names and initials. But we raised a wee bit of money. We got a wee bit of cash out of it for some charities, so it was good.
Great. There's been what I was going to wonder. Would you mind? Angus is an exceptionally good accordion player. I've known him since he was very, very young. I was actually brought up about maybe 10, 12 miles from where Angus is tonight. Before I moved to Shetland 25 years ago. In fact, I remember going and picking him up once and taking him to go and see Braveheart, I think it was the film.
Yeah.
So that shows how long we've kept each other. And everybody knows what Braveheart is. I think your dad was too busy in the firm to take you, so I took you.
He's always too busy, yeah.
So we've known each other for a long time. Do you fancy giving us a wee tune, and then we'll speak about some of the things you're up to and things?
Yeah. Okay, the box.
Oh yeah, very pretty accordion.
Oh, aye. As long as it looks good, that's the main thing. So I'm going to play a tune. This is actually, it's still kind of keeping with the Celtic theme. This is a tune from Galicia. I play in a band, an accordion trio called Accord Trio, out in Spain with a couple of fantastic Spanish accordion players. And this was one that was written for that project by Jose Luis Romario. But it's just such a lovely tune. I've been kind of playing it for a bit, so I thought I'd give it to you. Thanks. So here we go. See if I can get it.
Woo! Yeah. Excellent. Making us think. You're making us think of all the places we wish we could be just now. We can't go anywhere.
I know.
So, hello, Heather Morrison. Is that somebody that kens you guys? enjoy the Scout gang with Bankery Scouts?
I ken Heather. She does services at the crematorium just outside Bankery.
Oh, that's fine.
She's a humanist services.
But she's obviously
fine.
somewhere in a Scout.
Fine and cheery. Aye.
We had a honeymoon in Paris, and it just made me think. That's what came to my mind when I heard that music. It's quite. It's maybe just an instrument, but it is a kind of French feel. I did wonder about that kind of glazed romantic look that came in your eye. Yeah, I was.
No, it's just the horror of thinking how long we've been married, Peter.
So, Angus, we were speaking earlier on, Angus, there about obviously you said you're blazing fiddles. You've built up your career. You've played with lots and lots of artists now. You've also got recording studios, so you're meeting an awful lot of people everywhere, all over the place, which is fantastic. When I saw you up here, as we were speaking about earlier, that was with Rory Campbell, and you done that duet for a while as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then you have a list of names, Blue Rose Code, and all these people that you've been working with, and
yeah, it's kind of been incredible. Just as even going back to getting my first phone call from Charlie Todd and the Cameronian Ceilidh Band, and you coming over.
Me too.
Peter, Peter's one of the reasons that actually got me started and got me a career, because my first ever gig was back playing with Charlie, and Peter taught me how to play second box, so I got my first lesson in chords from Peter back in the day. And
you've learnt a few more chords than me now, though.
No, same one. But and then it's kind of been an incredible 20 years of just the next, anytime you think you've got some gigs in the diary, and then maybe it gets a bit quieter, then the phone always goes, and it always takes you in a different direction. And I've stopped trying to manage that at all. I just kind of say yes and see where you end up. And it's I think it's been.
Tell me, you did you when you got the phone call to play with Cat Stevens.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name now? It's Yusuf
Islam, yeah.
Yusuf, you got a phone call about that, didn't you, to go and play for him?
Yeah, again, I actually got a phone. One of my friends was playing bass in his band, and they kind of said, kind of off the cuff one day, accordion might work in this. So he said, I know the guy, phone Angus. And I got a phone call from this American producer, Rick Knowles, and I didn't click the name. When he said Yusuf Islam, it didn't. I was like, oh, cool, sounds good. I'll be there. And he didn't. The session was in London. I was living in Glasgow at the time, and the session was the next morning in London. And I said to him, I was like, well, what are we going to do? Are you guys going to get me a flight, or how's it going to work? And he was like, oh, no, I thought you were in London. Don't worry, it's just an idea. Like, it's not a big deal. But just in that moment, I was like, oh, no, it's fine. I'll drive. I'll be there by 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And he was like, well, if you want. But I was like, no, don't worry. I'll be there. So I left Glasgow, like, in the middle of the night, drove down, and I stopped at Abington service station. And by this point, I'd twigged it was Cat Stevens. And I stopped at the service station to fill up the car, and they had the best of Cat Stevens next to the kiosk as I was paying, and I was like, oh, right, I better buy this. So bought it, put it in the car, and started listening to it all the way down. And by the time I got to London, I was a bag of nerves. I was like, oh, no. I was like, I didn't realise he'd written all these songs, and like, he was such a legend. So, and then that led to loads of other kind of amazing gigs and opportunities and different things. So
yeah, I remember you telling me that led to the Paul McCartney gig as well.
Yeah, well, that was kind of one that he was out. We were doing. It was his first kind of comeback gig. I think it was the first time he'd played in about 25 years. And we went out to Germany to do this gig, and it's funny. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's not a big deal. Paul McCartney's coming up." So we had a day rehearsing with him, and got to play "Let It Be" with him, and yeah, it was kind of surreal, very, very surreal, the whole experience. But then, classic story of being a kind of musician for hire is the very next week I came back from doing that, and I had a gig in Glasgow with the Paul McCartney tribute act who'd been on Stars in Your Eyes in a bar in Glasgow. So that was 7 days later from doing the actual gig. I was back. The motto, it's always gig's a gig. It's like you just as it comes. So, but that one was. I don't think I'll ever go from such a high to such a kind of. Well, it wasn't a low, but just a contrast.
Well, Paul and Shona, come in whenever you want and speak. I think we've lost Ross tonight. I don't know what's happened to Ross. He seems to be in cyberspace somewhere. But come in and speak whenever you want. No bother.
Oh, here it goes.
Yes. Where have you been? Can you hear us?
Good evening.
Where have you been?
Hi, Ross.
Hello, how you doing? I was tuning up there. I couldn't hear anything.
You can't have been at the pub because they're all closed.
I know. Not in Palafry.
Well, we've had Angus on here and we've been speaking away there about him playing with Cat Stevens and Paul McCartney and people like that. And then you piped at a NASA launch. So it's all go here tonight. This is amazing.
These old instruments are still busy.
I played at a women's rural once. I'm not really very famous at all, am I? Well, you guys are out there. But we're just talking about that. So, Angus, you're playing with Blazing Fiddles. You play the keyboards with them as well, and and doing quite a bit. And I've seen you a few times. In fact, we were supposed to see you 2 weekends ago at Orkney Folk Festival, but unfortunately,
I know.
yeah. So, but we'll get next year. And there's always a football game at the end of the Orkney Folk Festival that we'll line up and. All the guys are petrified when they see me pulling my shorts on right enough.
The last time we were up with Blazing Fiddles, we took it to new levels because I'd been up the year or 2 years before with Box Club, and the Orkney team terrible cheats, and at one point 17 players from Orkney, and they brought in like actual, like players that played for the actual team, not just musicians. So they beat us like 18-9 or something. It was ridiculous. So the next year we came back up, but we'd organised it. We took it really seriously, and we brought our own strips and everything, and we walked about the whole festival wearing our own kit all the time. I don't think anybody else very serious.
But did you win?
Yeah, we did. We did. Alan Henderson, the fiddle player Alan Henderson, put one of the Orkney boys. We had to get an ambulance. He got stretchered off and taken to hospital. Like he was on the pitch with the oxygen on and everything. That's how seriously we took it. So, but we won. So.
Alan Henderson, he's a big Aberdeen fan, I think, isn't he?
Oh,
yeah. I heard that. In fact, one of the last times I saw him, I bumped into him in Aberdeen, and he'd come to the West Coast to come and see an Aberdeen game. So that's how committed he is. He's a big fan.
He's got a very bad eye.
Brilliant. Angus, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's been magic seeing you again, having you on. I see you're in the studio tonight. You're still hopefully going to be working, and everything's going to pick up for us all again, I hope, in the future. Do you fancy getting us a wee set of tunes before you go and have a cup of tea?
Aye, I will do. This is a couple of tunes.
Thanks so much for being on with us all. It's brilliant.
Thanks for having me. Really appreciate it. It's a couple of wee tunes from back in the Cameronian Cayley Band days, Pete. So, see if I can remind them.
Over to Angus. There you go, Rebecca. very much, Angus. Angus, thank you very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen out there, if you're interested in looking at Angus's website, it's anguslion.co.uk. It's a very good website. You can go and hear different bands he's playing with, stuff that they're doing in the studio. It's a real well put together site. So anguslion.co.uk. Don't worry if you haven't got a pen or paper to write it down, because you can watch this back after. So it's no problems at all. Angus, thank you very much and stay safe, sir. Cheers. Thank you. Bye the night. Bye.
Remember, it's
L-I-O-N.
L-I-O-N.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, L-Y-O-N. Rebecca, so Angus is going now. Paul and Ross, we've got Ross back. Who's playing first tonight? Ross, are you going to get some set of pipe tunes tonight? What have you got up your sleeve tonight?
I'm going to play some Strathspeys tonight. A couple of these traditional sort of Strathspeys, and I always like to try and have some like Perthshire tunes somewhere in our set. So the first tune that I'm going to play is a Strathspey called The Braes.
Rebecca, Angus is back on the screen with his Rubik's Cube.
Thank you very much.
So the first tune is going to be the Braes of Tillymet, and it's the Braes of Tillymet that I probably spent most of the years of my life growing up in. My parents, Hamish and Sheila, who aren't watching tonight or any of the nights because it's past their bedtime, they're still living up there. And then a number of other wee Strathspeys, and then I'm going to finish with a reel called Glen Lyon.
Fantastic.
That's the wee tunes for tonight.
Fantastic. Remember, folks, if you've got any comments, send them in, please. We love to see them on the screen as we're playing. It's our way of interaction just now as musicians. We're so used to seeing people either throwing stuff at us or smiling at us. So at least we get a reaction. It's difficult when we're just playing the screen. So any comments out there, if you want to laugh around, please do. But take it away, Ross. Thank you very much. Go.
Okay. I'll shift this screen down a bit.
Woo! Excellent, Mr. McNaughton. Excellent. Boy, you're fairly getting into these spays. I think Paul Anderson's rubbing off on you.
I've been watching a lot of the. It's not usually a style that I don't play them as open as that. Usually, like quite bands or competing wise, you wouldn't play them like that. But it's such a relief to play them like that, you know.
Oh, they're beautiful tunes, well worth playing. Well worth playing. Paul, I'm going to hand you a wee bit just now. I think what we'll do is I'm just running a wee bit of time, so I'll maybe get you to play a tune at the end of the night, and I'll no bother. But we've got a friend of yours coming on now.
You sure?
And I wondered if you would maybe like to do a wee introduction for him. Just to tell the folk who this man is that we've got coming on. This is our first Irish contribution, which we're all very, very excited about.
Hi, well, this is a good pal of mine in Shonas. This is Francy Devine, who lives in Hoath, which is a fishing village just on the edge of Dublin. And Francy's a well-respected traditional singer, just had his second solo album came out this year. But although he lives in there, he was born in Peterborough to a Scottish dad, an English mum. His dad has Irish ancestors, so he's really, I suppose you could say, he's a perfect example of somebody that's truly British, because he's got a wee bit of all these different elements. So but he's a top singer and one of the world's leading authorities in the Irish trade union movement. So there you go. If you want to care on about unions in Ireland, Francy's your man.
Fantastic. Rebecca, can we bring Francy on now? Hi, Francy. How are you doing, man? Nice to see you.
Thank you very much for having me on. Lovely playing, Ross. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Frankie. Thank you very much.
We have a pipe band here in the village, one of whose members, our pipe major, won the world title with the Lawrence O'Toole's a couple of years ago. And now we band from the grade 3 about 2005, I think. So big piping tradition in the village.
Fantastic. Yeah, absolutely.
Great to hear. Great to hear.
Some good bands over there as well. Some really good bands. So, where are you exactly just now, Francie? Can you tell us?
A wee bit north of Dublin. If you're ever in Dublin, we have an electric train system called the Dart. We're at the northern end of that. It's a wee fishing village, although fishing is a wee bit in decline, but it's a beautiful place. Cliffs, sea, Ireland's Eye, the island just off the harbour. So a lovely wee place to live.
Fantastic. And what brought you into traditional singing over the years then, do you think? Because we're hearing a wee bit about your background from Paul there, that you're Scottish.
I was actually born in London, but I grew up in Peterborough. But my father, really, who always sang, combination, funny enough, of jazz, but also Scottish and Irish traditional music. His own family were Irish. And then as I got a wee bit older, just sort of fell into discovering traditional music. I always sang, and so I've been doing that for a wee while, and blessed to know people like Paul and Shona. And I have to mention my mentor is really Steve Byrne of the band Malinky, who sort of encouraged me to do things. So Steve and I
noticed Steve had done a fair bit in your last album for you, and that's I was listening to that today. It sounds fantastic, actually. It's a fantastic sounding album. And I met Steve at Orkney Folk Festival last year as well, actually. He was up last year, so I met him. And we had a wee Jock Stewart on the stage at one point in time. singing at the end, so it was fine. Do you fancy giving us a wee song of your choice, Francy? And after you've sung, I'm going to get Paul to speak to you for a wee while, and you can maybe reminisce on some of your stories. And if you could keep it all clean, and
you can't Paul Anderson too well.
Yes.
This is a song associated with travellers. We have a very strong tradition, no more than in Scotland with the Stuarts of Blairgowrie and stuff, of travellers songs. This one is associated with Liam Weldon, the late Liam Weldon, who wrote fantastic songs like Dark Horse on the Wind, The Blue Tar Road, Via Extasia. I think it was actually written by somebody called Kerwin, and there's various people who've recorded it, but it's called One Starry Night. One starry night, as I lay sleeping, one starry night, love, as I lay in bed, I dreamed I heard wagon wheels a-creaking. When I awoke, love, found you had fled. I'll search the highways, likewise the byways. I'll search the pouring camping places too. I will enquire all about people. Have they tide or tidings or sight of you? For it's many's the mile, love, with you I have travelled. Many's the hour, love, with you I have spent. I thought you were my love forever, but now I find, love, you were only land. I'll go across the seas to England, to London or to Birmingham, and in some public house I'll find you, lamenting for your love back home. For it's many's the mile, love, with you I have travelled. Many's the hour, love, with you I have spent. I thought you were my love forever, but now I find, love, you were only land. I am drunk today, and I'm seldom sober, an errand rover from town to town. When I am dead and my sorrow's over, Molly born a story, come lay me down. For it's many's the mile, love, with you I have travelled. Many's the hour, love, with you I have spent. I thought you were my love forever, But now I find, love, your only land. One starry night, as I lay sleeping, one starry night, love, as I lay in bed, I dreamed I heard wagon wheels a-creaking. When I awoke, love, found you had fled. When I awoke, love, found you had fled.
Oh.
Lovely.
Thank you. Absolutely fantastic. Super. Absolutely lovely. Lovely. I
I was gonna
love the
say,
story. The whole
Francie,
story there. Just fantastic. What I was going to say, Paul, can we, if I hand over to you to chat to Francie just for a minute or two here now, can you maybe point out somewhere where people could get Francie's albums from as well, or buy his music from as well? That'd be great.
well, I'll leave that to Francie, but I was going to say we were having a wee chat earlier, Francie, about mentioned Aberdeen Football Club, but some of it folk want to realise is that Francie has been a football scout, a talent scout. Is that? Can you tell us a bit about that, Francie?
Sort of. I was involved in football a wee bit, but a few players over in Scotland, mind you, but yeah, a wee bit. Football always
I
been
don't know why I've never seen him before.
always been a big part of my life, and the only thing about football, when you see it from the inside, it's not always a pleasant business. Fairly cutthroat, and hundreds, if not thousands, of young boys, and nowadays young girls as well, join the big clubs and never really make it. So it's a tough way to make a living. More than being a musician, a tough way to make a living. So you see a lot of hardship as well as everything else.
Francie, I'm a Hearts supporter, so it's hard being a supporter just now as well.
I think you can get an ointment for that, Peter. I have to confess I'm a Celtic supporter through my father, but Alex Young was one of my big heroes, and the famous five. And I think Hearts have always been a good club, and it'd be very tragic if they were to be relegated at the end of all of this. But that's very hard to decide. I'm sure people in Cape Breton have absolutely no idea what we're talking about with all this football. But anyway, Sean.
So can you tell them a wee bit about what you?
Here's the boss. Here's the boss. Your microphone's off, Rebecca. Microphone.
Not a clue, but so honored to be watching and listening to all of this. Just wow.
Okay.
I was saying, can you maybe say a wee bit about what you did for a living? I kind of retired now, but
I was a sort of trade union official, except I was involved in membership education, some extent labour law and things like that. But so I spent my working life as a trade union official, and answering one of Peter's earlier questions. When I started as a construction worker, shop steward in England, where the majority of workers were from the west of Ireland, I found being able to sing wasn't a bad thing to be able to do. You enjoyed the pint after the meeting, but it also gave you a wee bit credibility. So I did a lot of singing, and in those days, on building sites in England and indeed in Scotland, there were great songs. Some written by Ewan MacColl, some by Dominic Behan, Brendan Behan's brother. Songs like Crooked Jack, McAlpine's Fusiliers. They were anthems, if you like, for the Irish building workers in Britain. And of course, we also had in Ireland, which I think we should mention, Irish people tend to know very little about Canada. I would include myself in that. And yet, I think it's a fact that the majority of Irish that emigrated to North America actually entered the continent through Grosse Ile. In other words, they went in through Canada. And I think, there are those connections. And that's been built up a wee bit in the last few years, because if anybody in Cape Breton has Irish ancestors, it's worth knowing that you can, free online, you can go into the National Archives of Ireland and look up the 1901 or 1911 census to find any Irish relatives in Canada. And that was done as a joint project between the Canadian and the Irish government. So we owe the Canadian government the fact that our 2 censuses are online and free to anybody.
Great.
And Newfoundland, it's got a huge Irish population. 80% are Irish extract.
2 quick stories. The first is that on Newfoundland, where they came from the southeast of Ireland, I think Wexford and Waterford, you still find people, even though they're ex-generations Newfoundlands, speaking with what are effectively Irish accents. And there are elements of a language called Pal, which was spoken in the southeast of Ireland, that is still there in Newfoundland. And the second thing, which I think is quite interesting, Liam O'Connor, the fiddle player, one of our great fiddle players, and now director of the Irish Traditional Music Archive, likes going to Canada, hint, hint, especially if there's fish to be caught. And I actually can't remember, was it Cape Breton, which I think it was, but it may have been Newfoundland. And he tagged on a few days at the end of his trip to go salmon fishing, a type of salmon that he'd not fished before. Got to a very remote community by seaplane to discover the fish were in the bay, but not in the river, and tried to find a fiddle player. And eventually found an old man. And to cut the story very short, this man played him a version of, which I think Paul knows, a version of Johnny Cope, which Liam recorded on the phone. And when it came back across this side of the water, where it would be known primarily as a song rather than a tune, it turned out to be a version of a tune that most Scottish fiddle players hadn't got. So here's this tune that arrives in Newfoundland or Cape Breton maybe 250 years ago, and then it's sort of kept in Aspic in this wee community, and Liam brought it back, and we obviously shared it then with Scottish fiddle players. So the connections are pretty strong,
Liam is definitely a guy be well worth getting on in future weeks. Actually, he's one of the finest Irish fiddlers I've heard. Just a beautiful style, elegant, beautiful player, and he's a lovely guy. He's certainly, I'm not sure if he likes his fishing more than his fiddling, actually, because one of the times we had him up here to Aberdeenshire, it was probably primarily based on the fact he was going to get a day fishing on the River Dee for salmon with my pal Ian Murray. So he's a good lad.
That sounds like a pretty good deal, that, though.
Yeah.
No, a bad deal, except he didn't catch it.
Francy, do you have another song up your sleeve there that you could maybe?
We can do another song.
Great.
I think what I'll do is I'll do a Scots song. I sing a fair number of Scots songs, and I got this originally from the singing of Barbara Dimmock, who is a Fife lassie, but I think bides in Dundee. Barbara Dimmock, Dymock, really fine singer. But it's a version of a very well-known song called The Lowlands of Holland. And in some versions of the song, you hear all sorts of exotic things growing in Holland. And of course, the Holland referred to, I think, is the East Indies, which were Dutch occupied at one stage rather than Holland. But I really like this version of the song. And it refers to Galloway or Galloway, which is in the southwest of Scotland. You can stand in Galloway and look across to Ireland and vice versa. So here we go, The Lowlands of Holland. Oh, the rue that I hae chosen, I'll herewith be content. The salt sea shall be frozen, for that I repent. The salt sea shall be frozen, for that I repent. And the lowlands o' Holland, 8 twine my loo and thee. Malu lies in the salt sea, and I am on the side. Enough Tabrac, young things helped, who lately was a bride, who lately was a bonny bride, we pleasure in her e'en. And the lowlands o' Holland, he twine Malu and me. Malu he built a bonny ship and set her on the sea. We 70 good mariners to bear her company. 80 were sunk, and 80 deep at sea. And the lowlands o' Holland, he twine Malu and me. Malu he built another boat and set her on the main. We named but 20 mariners to bring her back home. But the weary winds began to rise, and the seas began to roll. And Malu and his bonny boat turned with her shins above. There shall neither quaff come on my head, nor cane come in my hair. There shall neither coal nor candle light shine in my bower mere. I'll never lose another rain until the day I die. And the lowlands o' Holland, he twine Malu and me. God your tongue, my doctor dear, lie still and be content. There are melons in Galois, ye needna say lament. There are melons in Galois, but there's none at all fae me. For I ne'er lood a lubate, and he's drowned in the sea. I ne'er lood a lubate, and he's drowned in the sea. The lowlands of Holland.
Yeah.
I should, just as I say it there, send my best wishes to Phil Alt and Elizabeth Boyle in Guelph, who are listening in and watching in. Elizabeth's father was J.W. Boyle, one of the great Irish historians, particularly of the 19th century, and of Irish Labour. And her mother, Elizabeth, wrote a wonderful book called The Irish Flowerer on the history of the Irish linen industry. Anyway, they're there in Guelph. So Elizabeth and Phil, how are you?
Great stuff.
Francy,
Francy, can you tell us, is there anywhere, Francie, that people could look to buy your music, say to download it on?
It's on you can go into a site called Bandcamp.
Yep.
Francy Devine, Francy Devine, and just put Francy Devine Bandcamp. It'll come up. I have 2 CDs. Paul and Shona are on the last one. Paul is on both of them, and I did them with Steve Byrne. They're called My Father Told Me and An Ownerless Corner of Earth. And Ross will be keen to know we have a few pipers on this one. Finn Moore, I'm sure you know, and Noel Kelly from the Hoth Pipe Band. So
well, Finn Moore made these pipes.
I was going to ask you. He plays beautifully. He plays on a track on one of the things. So a lovely guy.
Yeah, lovely guy. He is a lovely guy.
It's an incredibly small world when we start linking up as musicians. It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
And
if musicians were only presidents and prime ministers, we wouldn't be too bad.
Yeah, could be in a better place than we are now, anyway. Francie, can I just say thank you so much for giving us your time tonight to come on. It's been an absolute pleasure. I think we could have had you on for about 12 hours listening to you. It's you're so informative. I would love to do this again sometime, and we'll maybe get longer to chat about things. So thank you to Paul. Thank you to Paul for pointing us in your direction. That's excellent. So thank you so much, and we'll hopefully see you again sometime.
Hopefully.
Thanks for coming on.
See you, Sean.
Thank you. Thanks again.
Thanks.
Cheers. There we go. Super guy. Well, yeah, what an informative man.
Yeah, really interesting.
Fantastic.
Right. Very, very. Well, he's got an amazing memory, actually, because I mean, I've got a memory like a sieve for some things, but he'll mind facts and faces and tunes that he's heard at concerts 10, 15 years ago.
He's a great poet as well.
You can just tell that, can't you? You can just tell that he's straight away. He would tell you what something was, you know.
And he's
really.
His poetry is fantastic. He's got several collections, and they're just superb. He's just a great guy.
He was actually talking to me about a chap, Ollie Graham from Ollie Graham. He was talking about the poet from Shetland, and he had picked up some of the poetry when he was up here, and he sent me some today and said, I really like this poem and I like that one, and I said, oh, that's good. But that's it. Paul, have you got any tunes up the sleeve tonight at all?
Okay, just to finish things up a wee bit. I'm gonna play a Spain reel, Earl Grey and the Waverley Ball to finish. Just let me get tuned up.
Rebecca has just informed us there's no hurry. So.
Okay. Oh well, I'll play another 4 tunes.
Great stuff. That's great stuff. Listen, Rebecca's wondering if we would mind doing one each kind of style thing for the show tonight. Is everybody all right to do another wee tune? Are you all right with that? Does anybody? Yeah, well, I'll give you a wee tune now, and then Shona, do you fancy giving us a wee song, and then Ross a wee set of tunes, and then Paul, you can ratchet it off at the end.
Okay.
That's a technical term for give it laldy.
Yeah. Peter, are we getting paid overtime for this? I just want to check.
Paid?
I'm not saying anything about that.
Well, ask Rebecca when she comes back on. Right. I'm going to do something quickly here. A couple of Scottishes for you tonight, just something a wee bit different since we're going international. The first one's called Mintos, which means my girl. And the second one is called Friedrich's Dance number 30 or 33, I can't remember. 32 and a third. There you go. A wee couple of It's quite funny, isn't it, with that kind of music, the dots and cuts. It's not unlike pipe music or that either. Just a different across the water kind of style thing. So, I'm quite impressed tonight, Ross. You missed that earlier on. You weren't here. Paul's got his kilt on tonight. Look
at that.
And you're muted, Ross. You're muted. Ross, switch your mic on. Switch your mic on. There you go.
But you're wearing the same clothes, Paul. I seen you online the other night. You had the kilt on. I was watching you. You were doing a thing. Was it 2 nights ago you were on?
Oh, I changed my shirt though.
Of course, mate.
It's a cracking spot on that though. That's the beauty.
My dad told me a joke today that I said that I should tell, and it's about two. It's safe, Peter. It's safe. It's safe. But he said there's 2 people walking down the street. One's a musician, and the other person didn't have any money either.
Well, there's none of us got any gigs all year, so it's it's pretty
When we were young, somebody said, "What did you call a musician without a girlfriend?" And that was homeless. so there we go. Anyway, right, enough of that nonsense. Shona, have you got a song up your sleeve there at all for us?
Yeah, I'll sing you a song.
What do you fancy then, Mike?
Well, Angus was speaking about Paul McCartney earlier. Now, I'm not going to do a Beatles song, but this is a traditional song called Green Grow the Laurels, and the tune is very, very like Mull of Kintyre. So I'm not quite sure which one came first.
court cases pending.
Court cases pending, but a lot of people think, oh, I know that tune, and it's not until you say it sounds like Mull of Kintyre that they realise what it was. But this is a traditional song called Green Grow the Laurels. I once had a sweetheart, but now I hae nane. He's gone and he's left me to weep and to mourn. He's gone and he's left me, but contented I'll be, for I'll get another far better than he. Green grow the laurels, and soft falls the dew. Sorry was I, love, when parting with you. But at our next meeting, I hope you'll prove true, and you'll change the green laurels for the violets so blue. He wrote me a letter with 4 rosy lines. I wrote him another, all twisted and twined. Keep your love letters, and I will keep mine. And ye write to your sweetheart, and I'll write to mine. Green grow the laurels, and soft falls the dew. Sorry was I, love, when parting with you. But at our next meeting, I hope you'll prove true, and you'll change the green laurels for the violets so blue. He walks by my window both early and late, and the looks that he gives me, it makes my heart break. The looks that he gives me 1,000 times o'er. You are the lassie I once did adore. Green grow the laurels, and soft falls the dew. Sorry was I, love, when parting with you. But at our next meeting, I hope you'll prove true, and you'll change the green laurels for the violets so blue. I oft times do wonder why maids love young men. I oft times do wonder why young men love them. But by my experience, I now what to know, that young men are deceivers wherever they go. Green grow the laurels, and soft falls the dew. Sorry was I, love, when parting with you. But at our next meeting, I hope you'll prove true, and you'll change the green laurels for the violets so blue, and you'll change the green laurels for the violets so blue.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic. Really, really nice. Lovely. Paul McCartney's lawyer phoned there in the middle of that.
What do with me?
I told him to sod off. I said, listen, Shona's version's better than yours anyway. So
You'll say Angus lying on you.
So it's all sorted. All sorted. Don't worry. That was fantastic. Really, really awful nice. Yeah, incredibly similar tune though.
Yeah.
Very similar. Yeah.
I don't know where the tune came from.
For all the viewers out there, I hope you're enjoying this. You're getting an extra half hour tonight by the looks of things. This show's just going crazy. We'll be on for weeks. We'll be on to the lockdown lifted.
Can I say a quick hello to my dad, Peter? My dad, I don't know if it was maybe up there, but he's currently in the loft in Huntly where they stay on his training bike, on his push bike. So he's got it all picked up.
Aye, boy, that's dedication.
I know, isn't it? My mum's in our bed, mind you, but
yeah. Is there, just on a matter of that, guys, is there somewhere folk can buy your albums and things like that as well? Do you have a website together? Or
Paul does.
I do. There's a couple you can download for there, but just send a message on Facebook and we can arrange to have them posted. You can get them for Burnham CD in Burnham.
Yeah.
Let's get that lock right.
Very good.
Dunkeld, sorry.
But Paul's website, paulandersonscottishfiddler.com. Pretty easy to remember.
That's Martin Haddon's place, isn't it? Burnham?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be great. Ross, have you got any CDs out yet?
No.
You're going to have to after all this fame and fortune on Ripple FX.
I know. I'm going to have to do like a Canada version.
A Canada version. Yeah.
I've actually really enjoyed this, and it's made me look for, just in case you hit me with a really awkward question, I've been like researching loads of new musicians that have come out in the last little while. So
you're some boy. You probably know more than we do.
No, it's been great, and it's quite exciting. The wee lineup that's for the next few weeks. That was.
We've got a good lineup coming for the next few weeks as well, folks. Yeah, that's a point. The next 2 weeks, we've got 2 guests on each night, and we have got some fantastic guests for you. Quite amazing, actually. So I think you're going to be quite stunned when you hear some of these people playing. And we'll be here, the usual suspects, to keep them right, of course, because we don't want these famous people getting out of hand or anything like that.
Paul McCartney, what one's he on?
He's busy.
It's Cat Stevens.
He's getting his hair done or something. Anyway, right then, Ross, are you going to fire us a wee set of tunes? I'm
just going to play one wee tune. A wee waltz that I wrote called the Rannoch Bike Ride. And
is that about a bike ride in Rannoch?
No.
No,
it is. All my grandparents grew up in Rannoch, and my mum's mum and my dad's dad grew up with each other from a very early age, and they were the last two, and they never moved far away from each other, and they were great friends. And just smashing special friendship that they had, and it was all stories from Rannoch. And when they were both very, very old, I took them for a run up to Rannoch, and we went out for lunch. And one thing that they talked about was everybody round the loch back then had nicknames. Something that I can relate to in the army, because in the army you had nicknames, and I think that's a thing that's maybe when you're in a very close sort of environment. That sort of thing evolves, so that must have been what was going on there. But another thing that they constantly talked about was they stayed at the west end of the loch, and every night they used to get on their bikes and cycle to Kinloch Rannoch to meet all the other young folk in the village. It was great stories, fantastic. So on the way home from taking them for their lunch, we got stuck behind like modern cyclists, and they wouldn't let me past. I was angry, but the kind of motion of the legs was very kind of mechanical, and it ended up in the last sort of phrase of the tune is kind of and represents the motion of the cycling. But that's to be linked to this tune. Anyway, it's a tune called the Rannoch Bike Ride.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I think you should get that recorded. Have it really loud, and when you get stuck in a single track road, I had some cyclists, when you overtake them, you blast them out the window.
Aye.
That's really payback time. We, to be honest, up in Shetland this year, I've hardly seen a cyclist because of the climate we're in, of course, but usually the roads are full of them. And when the liners come in, the big liners come in, they seem to do this cycling parties now, and there's about 80 of them, and they all come piling off in a great big long line.
I bet they're
they go on about this 2 meters you're supposed to stay away from them or something like that. But in a single track road in Shetland, it's not very easy to get by 80 folk. Again, it's no, especially when they're about 80-year-old as well, and they're going about a mile an hour or something. So it's one of the things. But anyway, Paul, would you like to wrap up the show for us tonight and get Laldy, and then we'll get Rebecca back on quickly and say good night to folks. So, anything you fancy, sir?
Right, I'll just diddle through something very quick just to finish up. This is going to be the Orange Blossom Special, which is quick.
That's a fine old traditional Scottish tune.
Yes, it was written by Neil Gow in 17. I think before the train was actually invented.
Fantastic, that man. Fantastic. Oh my goodness me. Rebecca, remember to put your microphone on. Switch your mic on, Rebecca.
There we go. Amazing.
My goodness. You have a whole audience there.
Thousands of kids turned up.
I was going to say, wait a minute, it's past bedtime, but it isn't with you, is it? It's all right.
Yeah,
Listen, guys, that's been an absolutely fantastic night again. We've thoroughly enjoyed that. I hope you have too. Anybody that's out there watching, please keep joining us. And if anybody would like to sponsor the show and give us millions and millions of pounds, please do that. That would be most appreciated. But Rebecca, that's been another successful night. That's been a nice, successful night again. Yeah. We can't hear you. Your mic's off again.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us tonight. We're looking right across the ocean. We're in your backyard. Our backyards touch.
Goodbye, everybody. Good night.
Thanks for watching to all our viewers.
Thank you again. Thanks for doing the backstage work. That's been a lovely concert tonight, ladies and gentlemen, all over the world. I do hope you've enjoyed yourselves. From the usual suspects, we'll see you next week. Watch out for us because we've got a great show next week too. Take care. Bye.
Thank you.
Want to thank you to all our viewers tonight for watching. Please put hashtag replay in the comments below. Let us know that you watched it, and feel free to share. Join us next Sunday. We have a lineup of musicians next Sunday. Thanks again. Have a wonderful night, you guys. Good night from Cape Breton Island. Il Madame.
Good night. Good night.